Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to Module 8. Deep breath. Module 8 is about knowing your worth. Knowing your worth, knowing who you are, and that can really get lost while you're in the church, especially like when it comes to conditioning and like trying to find your own self-identity. And when you're not even identifying with the church and you're not feeling comfort there and you're not feeling an understanding there, that can definitely add to you questioning your worth and who you are. And knowing who you are and knowing your worth is very vital and key to you unlocking a lot of things within yourself, because it is your knowing is what fuels your knowing. Like, knowing who you are is a key and a fuel to knowing your intuition, knowing what is coming through for you, what you are hearing, what you are divinely being led to act on. And the struggle is the getting your worth, knowing your worth, because that goes through so many processes of like layers of like deterioration almost in your beginning phases of life, when you're trying to figure yourself out as you transition from being a kid into a teenager into an adult. A lot of things can transpire that affect and that can have an effect on your worth and your how you value yourself and your self-esteem. The issues that come up in the church, though, are more so the conditioning. Like, when you grow up in a system of hierarchy and you grow up in a system that constantly wants you to depend on and respect people who are in these positions and such, that can automatically put you mentally in a stance of, I'm beneath them, I'm below them, I'm not worthy enough to be in this position or be at that role, be in that role to be closer to God. When we are taught that we have to do this to earn God's love, we have to behave a certain way to earn God's love, we have to abide by these rules that have been set to earn God's love, that slowly takes a chip at our self-value, our knowing of who we are and knowing our worth, because we end up going into a depth of shame and guilt for not following and doing the things that we told are meant for us to do so that God can love us. And it is going to be very vital that we release that belief in conditioning at our own pace, of course, around there's something that has to be done to earn God's love. In that, almost regaining your value, regaining your worth for yourself, your inner knowing of your worth, regaining that so that you can know that there's nothing that you have to do to earn God's love, but just so that you can know who you are and know that there's nothing that you have to do and there's no thing that you can break that diminishes God's love. And so when you're coming back to your center of worthiness and knowing who you are, you can move and maneuver in such light of knowing, of just knowing that anything that I do, God's love is still going to be there. Even if it's something that I may trip up, or something that I feel is going to be against this or against that. Letting down that belief system around connecting your worth to God's love has to go. Because the whole connection and basis is the knowing, the inner knowing. And that is honestly very vital and key to you connecting and knowing your intuition, knowing what's coming through, knowing what's you, what's your mind, what's your ego, what's your inner child, the different things that are going on inside of you. You have to have a knowing of yourself so that you can distinguish the differences between them and know what is what, which is which. But for the basics, the biggest thing to know is just, the biggest thing that you can focus on is just knowing, okay, what's ego and mind versus what's intuition? What am I hearing that's intuitive versus what I'm hearing, what is ego and mind? Knowing who you are, knowing your self-worth, living in your authentic self, living in your authentic self is going to help you distinguish the two voices, because you are taking the time to get to know who you are, taking the time to live in your truth and your authenticity, that you can tell the difference of what's going on. You can tell what's a little rambly, and then you can tell what's like, this is this and that's it, and it's no question about it. So taking the time to really do practices and affirmations and shadow work so that you can really get down to the depths of like really knowing your worth and knowing who you are, and almost like clearing out the fluff and the muck that has been built up in front of you, that you have learned over the years, that has made you think that you are unworthy, made you think that you have no value. If you are struggling with this, and some people do, because that worthiness wound goes deep sometimes, you can first take a moment every day to just sit with the idea of how God sees you, without the judgment of like what church has taught you, but the knowing that God loves you no matter what. So if there's a person that loves you no matter what, no matter how you are, like no conditions, how would that person see you? But I want you to do it in how would God see me? And really like sit with the idea of like how you are seen through the eyes of God, how you are seen with no judgment, no conditions, no anything that we are taught in the world. Really like try to center yourself around the whole perspective and idea of how does God see me? How does God view its child? Because there's not going to be any fault. There's not going to be any diminishing. So if you can take the time to see that and get past the God doesn't love me because of this, or God doesn't love me because of that, like, no, really sit with the idea of who you are without condition, without judgment. How are you really seen? Who are you really? And if you find that hard, just ask Spirit. Like, ask Spirit to send you a reflection of like who you truly are and what your value is. But honestly, like, knowing that for yourself is very important. Knowing that is what will help you up level and get to the next steps of your journey, because you have the knowing of who you are and what you deserve, and then you also have the knowing of your intuition and spirit, and knowing what is coming in that you need to act on, what is coming in that you need to change or maneuver. And knowing who you are, knowing your worth is what's going to help with that. Because Spirit sends in a message and then you don't believe in yourself, or you feel like you're not worthy of that, then you're going to miss that blessing, or you're going to miss that path that you need to go on, that Spirit needs you to go on, because you are not feeling like you are worthy of that, worthy of what came through to be for you to do, or what path came. Knowing who you are so that you can take the path that Spirit asked you to take. Something you can also do to get down to knowing your worth is living in your truth, living in your authenticity. Like I was saying, clearing out the muck and getting down to the roots, getting down to the truest you, getting down to the embodiment of your soul. What is that? Because that's your truest form, honestly. Taking the time to really dig down and dig deep into finding who you are at your core. And doing that is living your truth. Getting rid of all the things that you thought you had to do, that you thought you had to be, that people are asking of you to be. Letting that go and just doing the things that you feel like you don't question, and doing the things that you feel people will not like, that you love about yourself. Or I wouldn't even say love about yourself, because sometimes you question it, but doing the things that you feel like people are going to condemn you for. Because typically those are our truths. Those are the authentic parts of ourselves that want to come out and want to be lived and want to be loved. But we diminish them because somebody else doesn't want us to be that way. Or what is someone else going to say? Type of thing. So, walking in your truth and authenticity is going to help you know your worth. And in turn, knowing your worth is going to help connect you to your intuition and your inner knowing. And knowing all of that is what's going to keep allowing you to grow on your journey and go higher and higher into your journey. But then also just like getting through all the muck that's been around you to really embodying your truest self, embodying your soul, embodying yourself at a soul level, really being your truest authentic self, and really being like, I wouldn't say that. So, you are motherfucking worthy. You are worthy. You are loved. No one can take that away from you. And I hope that you take the time to learn that for yourself and know that for yourself. And know that your worth and value has not ever been diminished in the eyes of God. And that whatever stories that you have been told and lies that you have believed around that is not true. that you are of value, you are worthy. And I am praying for you to get to that point, because everybody deserves to know their worth and their value. I don't think I have any journal prompts for this one. I would say the prompt would be to really take time every day to love on yourself and really see yourself as you are seen in the eyes of God, and really start to begin to build up your self-worth, of like your knowing of your self-worth for yourself. Really begin to start that process and implement even 5 minutes, 2 minutes a day, 1 minute a day, 5 minutes a day. Just take the time to acknowledge how worthy you are, and allow that daily practice to just like culminate, and then eventually to become this huge thing, and then you won't be questioning yourself. And there might be phases where you still do, but it won't be as often as you're doing now. And yeah, I love you, human. And soul, God loves you. And I will see you in the next module. Thank you.